Hello, sir.
Hey, so it's your birthday today?
No.
What? That's not what Skype told me.
No, Skype is stupid because apparently it also told Andy Leyland my birthday was back in September.
Oh,
No,
maybe.
my birthday was in December.
Okay. Well, maybe it just, well, that's just odd.
Yes, it is.
Oh, well, yeah, no, that would make sense because it says December 3rd.
Well, yeah.
It's just it popped up and said, it's Gene's birthday, and I didn't see the date. I'm sorry. Um, took a little too long off. We took the holidays and other things that were going on the past month or so.
It's
Where
called life, Bill.
Yeah, life sucks. Life's hard. Life's hard. So,
I
but
like the I like the one thing Hope wrote on Facebook today. How do I adult anymore? That sums it right up, right there.
yeah. But we are back. We are almost we've made it. We're there, man. We made it to Iscandar.
Well, almost.
Almost.
We're in the general vicinity.
It's just right there at the Magellanic Cloud or the Magellanic Cloud or the Magnet Cloud or whatever the hell that brown stuff is. It's all over the Star Force. 'Cause that reminds me of that stuff when right before we'd pull into port, we'd dump all the bilge and all the
Lovely.
all the the trapped feces and what's that brown cloud spreading out from the ship? Oh, gross.
Hopefully no one was swimming near you.
Now the fish liked it. Ooh, delicious. Oh, sorry. Yes, that's the United States Navy at work. Polluters of the sea, defenders of the dolphins. Oh, hey, we held our plastic on board. We didn't throw it over, at least for a month. Then we threw it.
At least until you were in international waters.
Yeah, well, no, there were still rules then. They would hold it for so long. I mean, I'm sure it's gotten stricter. I mean, hell, when I was getting ready to go out, they were trying to go to a smoke-free Navy. I'm glad I got out then. Oh, my God. Oh, wow, man. Because there were certain parts of the ship that if you were going to walk through them at certain times of day, you had to hold your breath. Like because they didn't allow smoking inside the ship anymore. So there was like a breezeway, but it was the two large doors at each end of this long hallway on the outside skin of the ship. Mm-hmm. And man, you would come up from below decks and open up the door, and whenever I did, I would take that last deep breath and open that door, because there would be like 20-30 people in there just smoking up a storm, and you could step out of there and go to the left and go right out onto the deck, or you could go to the right and you had to walk the 30-foot gambit and hold your breath to get to that other far door and through a darkened cloud. What sucked is sometimes I had work, we called it PMS. No, not that PMS. Preventive maintenance system, and there was stuff in that space that I would have to dampers that open and close when we would launch missiles. We were tasked with testing those. So we would try to time it, when we're in port, most people are off the ship, never at sea, because man, there's always people smoking in there. It's horrible. I mean, I don't care if you want to smoke. I don't want to walk through a room with 30 people smoking at the same time.
You don't want to get emphysema just by taking a stroll.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care if people smoke. That's their deal. And now I've been working with a guy that he vapes, and he's got like this caramel flavored scent But for some reason it smells like maple syrup, and he'll be puffing on that. I'm like, dude, you're making me hungry. I'm just gonna reach over and bite out of your head or something because it just smells delicious. Stop it. Go puff your little vape somewhere else because or just change the flavor. You're making me. I'm starving over here. You don't see people vaping on the Star Force. I don't. Of course, they're alcoholics.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just they only have enough room for one vice.
Yeah. So, well, we were doing a little talking before the show, and I guess you're the only one who has lived up to the name of Anime Freak this month.
If you want to say that, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I've only been. I did a quick catch up on some other shows. Well, no, that's not really anime. I've been trying to watch the Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
The animated series, and then my son and my wife are rewatching Friends on Netflix, and I was starting to watch Fringe on Netflix because I never finished the series. So I've been a little bit sidetracked from anime. But
yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm partially due to your example, and partially due to just flat out wanting to save money. We've canceled our satellite as of last month, so I've been watching over the air TV, and some of these channels I get are pretty damn good. I mean, there's one.
So you were able to find a spot we
have. I got a indoor antenna that has a power portion on it, so it boosts the signal up. You can get stuff up to like 30 miles away, and so I'm getting, for some reason,
and straight from your TV. You don't have to have it on a window.
No, it's up on the wall next to the TV, but it's an interior wall, and we get some really clear stuff. There's one channel we don't get, which I don't understand because it's right next. The antenna for that is right next to the other two channels that we do get. So, but whatever. But it
could be how strong they're outputting their signal as well.
Could be, yeah. But it's funny because one of the substations, because if you do not have cable or satellite, your TV has these substations. So like for us, Fox in our area.
Yeah, they have like 0.2. Yeah.
So Fox in our area is channel 29. Now the normal one would be 29.1. Well, on 29.4 is a station called Buzzer, Buzzr. It's all old game shows.
Oh.
It's Match Game from the 70s. The Richard Dawson Family Feud. Hell, I was watching To Tell the Truth with Bud Collyer last week. Bud Collyer, also known as the original voice of Superman. And I discovered something I never knew. Apparently, young Betty White had dark hair. Because she was on that show, and I'm looking at her like, she's not blonde? What's going on here? But she was a looker when she was young. Oh boy. Anyway.
Okay.
I tell you all that to tell you this. I've only watched, except for these 2 episodes of Star Blazers, I've only watched 1 episode of Gatchaman all month. And that's the only anime intake I've had.
I am a worm. I have not watched any new anime. I must be beaten. I must be purged. My brother Noopsy. I have stolen from my brother Noopsy. If anybody can guess that movie, you don't really get anything except you can pat yourself on the back.
You get a no prize, just like Marvel.
Do you know what movie that is, Gene?
I have no idea.
Oh, I am a worm. I have stolen from my brother Noopsy. Noopsy, do you have any... Charles Dance played... What is it? Sato Noomspa? Do you have any idea who I am? You're Sato Noomspa. Nothing yet?
Nope.
I say, I want the knife, please.
Nope.
The Golden Child, Eddie Murphy?
Never seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess...
That's why I'm not here. That's why I'm not getting it, because I've never seen it.
Bill's just having he's in some type of strange fugue state, and I don't know what to do when he does this. Yeah, The Golden Child. That was out when I was in high school. I saw that in the movie theater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like a Tibetan Far East type deal with a
Wasn't he like the bodyguard of the
well, Eddie Murphy was a
whole trip?
finder of lost children in
Oh,
L.A. and they had stolen this. It was the Golden Child. It was a little kid,
hmm.
and he could, he had spiritual powers, and they were Charles Dance, who plays who did play a Lannister on Game of Thrones until he had a crossbow bolt through his stomach. Spoiler.
Ow.
Because he was Sardo Numspa, who was like a demon, and he was trying to corrupt the Golden Child. And they, like, if they could make him eat this rotted or unsacred food, so they were trying to starve him and all this other stuff. And there was only so much time that Eddie Murphy had to find him, and Eddie Murphy went to Tibet with this hot chick, and there was this whole sequence where he had to go get this knife, and the knife was the same knife that was used in the Shadow movie.
Aha!
It was the same prop, it was the same knife.
Right.
So he had to get that knife to kill Sardo Numspa, who turned into. And there's this big scene where he's trying to get through the airport, and he has the knife, and Charles Dance comes and he claims it back from him, and that's when he does this whole scene, because he's, they're going to try to kill it, and then he just makes, "Oh, I have stolen from my brother. It's my brother Noomsi." Yeah. Anyway, all right, that's the Golden.
Okay then.
That's the Golden Child. Yes, go see it. With the opening song in the credits was by Heart, called "You've Been Taken by the City."
Okay, I will not tell my wife that, because then we will have to watch the movie.
I'll be messaging on Facebook later. Oh, did you know?
Man.
Yep. So there you go, Golden Child. So I believe we have some reviews and email.
Yes. You want to do the email first, or do you want to do the reviews first?
I'll do one review, then you can. No, that then you do. No, you should. You have two things. I have one. So you go first. I'll go, and then you go.
Okay. All right. Well, I will.
You go. Wasn't that a car? Oh, sorry. I think it was.
You might think we're delaying here, but we actually do like these episodes. It's just
I'm just scatterbrained.
Well, I'm going to start out with an email. We received this from a lovely lady named Teresa Matthews, all the way from the Great White North.
You never watched SCTV?
No.
That was the theme to the Great White North.
Oh, okay.
With Bob and Doug McKenzie. Okay, now, back to your email.
She writes, "Hi, guys. Just a quick note from someone who doesn't know you personally." Yeah, we do seem to get a lot of emails from people that we actually know. She goes on, "I'm loving the podcast. I watch Star Blazers every Saturday, back when Saturday morning cartoons meant something."
Yay, bravo, bravo. Oh,
I like her already. "I've always had a real passion for anime, or Japanimation as we called it back then, but I often had a problem with the female characters. Half-naked, prepubescent bubbleheads just weren't something I could identify with. I know they made boys' hearts go pitter-patter, but it was really irritating for us girls."
Nova wasn't like that.
Well,
maybe that's where she's going.
That's where she's going. "If it was difficult being a nerd in the 80s, try being a female nerd in the 80s. That's why I loved Star Blazers, and was really happy you started out with that one. Series 1 had lots of action and fun characters, but I really appreciated Nova's character. She was at least a bridge member that had... Yeah, sorry, I blanked there. She at least was a bridge member that had at least sounded like she had a brain on occasion. Not to be spoilery, but I also liked the romance aspect of the show near the end as well. Episode 26, which will be in our next episode, ladies and gentlemen, was really my favorite episode. It had action, romance, tears, angst, and the all-important happy ending. That was food for my girly nerd soul. It had that story arc over 26 episodes, and I had never really seen that before. It was truly ahead of its time. Anyway, just thought I'd let you know that you're doing a great job. I hope in the future you could maybe have a female guest on the podcast to give the double X chromosome perspective. They would probably have a long time. Yeah, they would probably have to be a long-time anime fan, though. Thanks for all your hard work. Regards, Teresa Matthews, a.k.a. NerdMom1701. And she does have a P.S. Last episode, Tim Elliott gave you a list of stuff to review and mentioned that he was okay with you only doing 60 to 70% of it. Well, after listening to the list, I realized I had seen about 60 to 70% of his list. I still got it. Oh, thank you very much, Teresa. That was a very, very nice email to get.
Yes.
And like she said, from someone that we have no idea who she is.
Amazing. There are people out there like that.
Yeah, there are people in Canada of the female persuasion that actually listen to this show.
Awesome.
I'm gobsmacked.
Now we can say we have international listeners.
Yes.
Or at least intercontinental.
It's still international. It's a different country.
But it's still connected. Wouldn't national... Well, I guess national would be the boundary of the nation. So I guess it would be international. But it is still intercontinental. Because we are on the... Well, then I guess if they were in America, they'd be intercontinental. Because we're still on the continent. I got to write this down.
Anime Freaks, your only podcast that has math involved.
Math in places math should not be. Well, we are always interested in having guests, and Teresa, you're welcome to come along. I believe we have other female listeners, which actually is our next email. I mean, their iTunes. Our next iTunes review comes to us from Darren and Ruth Sutherland. It's I guess. Should I have said their name? It's DS and RS.
Well, we're going to say their name because we also want to pimp their podcast.
Yes. So there you go. Cat's out of the bag, folks. DS and RS, and it says classic anime discussions, and we have 5 stars. This is a perfect podcast for fans of classic anime television shows and movies, even though the hosts do not fall... Well, wait, no, I put that in there. Gene Hendricks and Bill Robinson provide fun and lively discussions. Early episodes include in-depth coverage of Star Blazers, but there is always time to talk about other anime classics as well. Great show, and thank you very, very much.
Yes, and Darren and Ruth are actually the voices behind the Trekker Talk podcast about Ron Randall's Mercy St. Clair character. But they also do Warlord Worlds, which is all about Mike Grell's Warlord, John Sable, and Green Arrow runs.
Ooh.
Both are very good shows. I'd recommend you listen.
Mm-hmm. I actually have not listened yet. I will say that now, and I apologize. I've been reshuffling and getting caught up on certain shows and now adding new shows to my selection. So I'm going to be doing that. I actually have covered one of the Mike Grell Warlords on Back to the Bins, and I have the Longbow Hunters, which I think is the Green Arrow stuff that he did.
Yeah, that's where I think, because he started with the Longbow Hunters, and I think he went into the ongoing series that followed the Longbow Hunters.
And from what I remember, that I think some of that was also worked in as like part of the character was on the Arrow series. When the flashback sequences on the island? Oh,
I don't know. The only episodes of Arrow that I've seen are the ones that guest star the Flash.
Oh, okay. I caught up that's also what I caught up on.
Okay.
I watched Arrow and all that stuff. So because I was watching Arrow as it's been airing, and then I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like I know what's going on because they're mentioning it, but I haven't seen it. So I went back and watched it, and I'm all caught up now.
Right. Yeah, it's one that we're eventually gonna have to get to, but right now, one of the viewing projects that my wife and I have is we're working through Hill Street Blues, which is on the first 3 seasons are on Hulu, and I haven't seen them since probably their original broadcast.
Yeah, that was. Wait a minute, how old are you?
I just turned 40.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were pretty young when they were on then, because I remember them being on when I was in high school.
Yeah, but you have to remember...
Right before Miami Vice.
My dad...
Or the same time frame, sorry.
My dad used to be a cop.
Oh.
And when my mom got pregnant with me, he decided to go into a safer occupation. So he ended up being he drove 18 wheels for UPS.
Mm.
Well, he worked nights. So he would, we were an early VHS adopter. So we would record the Hill Street Blues episodes or any other shows that he wanted to watch. And then on the weekends, he would watch them. So I remember watching Hill Street Blues with my dad.
Mm.
And it's funny because, as Michael Bailey is fond of saying, it all comes back to Superman. Because Detective Belker on the show, do you remember him?
Wasn't he Bruce?
Bruce Weitz?
Yes.
Well, he did the voice of Mannheim on Superman the Animated Series.
Oh, yes, the crime boss.
Yes.
Yeah. Bruno Mannheim, right? Yeah.
Bruno Mannheim. He first appeared in the Toyman episode.
Interesting.
So, moving on to the other iTunes review we have, and this one I had to figure out how to change my iTunes to a different nation because our buddy from the north, Teresa Matthews, wrote us an iTunes review on the Canadian iTunes. And she writes, it's a 5-star review, just says, great. This is a great blast from the past for all anime I grew up loving when the only hardcore fans were willing to search for VHS tapes without the internet and sometimes watch them in the original Japanese or with English subtitles if you were lucky. Fun guys who really love the medium. Well, thank you again, Teresa. we like to think we love it.
Could we have other reviews from other countries and we just don't know it?
We could. There's a huge amount of countries listed here.
Let me try United Kingdom.
Go for it.
Let's see.
Because they speak English.
No, they speak United Kingdomish.
Yeah, trust me. I've spent a year in England. English and American are 2 different languages.
And I have locked up my computer. Because it's doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
At least my notes for the episode are up.
Okay.
I was able to pull that to the forefront, but my iTunes just went.
That was happening to me when I was at work trying this out.
Because it's like, well, I don't, did I just do the computer equivalent of, oh my God, we're suddenly going to the United Kingdom. Whoosh. What the hell had just happened? It's doing nothing.
It's a 5-hour delay because that's the time.
Oh, so I can wait 5 hours for it to pop up? 5 hours ago it was up. So I got to go back in time to look at my computer.
See, I don't understand why it was doing that. When I tested this out at work, every time I clicked a new country, I would have to close iTunes and then reopen it, and it was in the new country. But here, when I'm at home, it's working fine. I just checked both England and Australia, and we don't have any reviews there.
Okay, well, I'm under my task manager. It says not responding, so I'm going to end and relaunch, much like some marriages. But not mine, because mine's still going.
Me, Elizabeth Taylor, and Richard Burton?
I'm talking about my mom. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? I think I did. Dummy, I tried to relaunch Skype. You're already in Skype, fool!
That would have been interesting for the recording.
Hello, Bill. Hello, Gene. Hi, Gene. Hello, Bill. Oh, my God! We're in a time warp!
At which point we could say, let's do the time warp again.
It's just a jump to the left.
A step to the right.
Put your hands on your hips.
Bring your knees in tight.
Do the pelvic thrust. Come on. Keep this chain going.
I can't. I'm sorry.
Drive me insane. Let's do the time warp again.
Oh, boy.
I saw that many a time in the midnight movies when I was in high school and when I was in the Navy. And there's a very long, there will be a special episode of Two True Freaks when I tell the story of my longest day.
Aha.
Yes. It is a story that is etched in my memory. So many different things happened in a 24-hour period that it was almost like a John Hughes movie.
Well, that storyteller's feed is just sitting there waiting for you.
Yeah, I've talked with Chris Honeywell about it. That and He's like, you tell it. I'll put some sound effects in. And I'll edit it all up. So.
Now, do we want to move on to the news of what we're covering next?
Oh, yes. Oh, hold on. Looks like iTunes has decided to wake up. Let me.
Oh, really?
I guess I'll check later if I'm in. I'm going to close it back down. I'll check to see if I'm in the UK. But yeah, let's hop on to what we're going to discuss next.
Well, as you all know, after we finish Star Blazers, next episode, season 1 is done. Then we are moving on to the movie Akira, and we will be having some guests on for a discussion of that. Well, after that, we had put a poll up on our Facebook group with various listings of different anime series we could take a look at next. The rule being that they had to be available online. Well, it came down to a 3-way tie between Dirty Pair, Attack on Titan, and Record of Lodoss War. Well, Bill and I discussed this, and looking at not only the length of the series, but also the subject matter, we decided to switch it up and go with Record of Lodoss War next. So we're going to go from a space opera to Dungeons & Dragons high fantasy.
Yeah, so we're not beating people over the head with the same genre. There's other things in anime that we want to cover. So that's where we're going next.
Yeah, it's only 13 episode series, so we should be able to bang it out in 6 Anime Freaks episodes. Mm-hmm. So then we'll do the same thing when we're about halfway through that. We'll put another poll up and see what people want to go, where they want to go after that. So unfortunately, it means that Paul Spataro is not going to listen for another 6 months. But what are you going to do?
But he's not listening anyway, so he doesn't know. Out there always pestering me. He's so mean to be cheat. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. That's all shtick.
I've been behind the scenes. It's not all shtick.
Yeah, it is. He said he's going to change.
Is there a home for battered podcasters?
Why?
Oh, and as I mentioned, we do have a group on Facebook if you guys would like to join. It's facebook.com/groups/animefreakstTF, all one word. Currently have 23 members there and some lively discussions.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of little postings in there.
Yeah.
So it's, maybe someday we can beat back to the bins. Paul was whining.
He's whining because he has over 100 people in the group?
Well, we have 200 now.
Oh man.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, see how behind I am?
Yeah, we broke 200, and then Scott Gardner's he's like, Tales of the JSA is at over 1,000 people. We haven't put a podcast out in like 6 months. And he said, I constantly get people asking to join. I'm like, well, good for you. Well, I guess we are ready to boogie on into our first episode.
I would say so.
Would you like me to take the reins on this one?
Sure, I'll take the next one.
Alrighty. And this would be episode 23 and 24, so this is 23. Yep. I forgot to cut and paste that on over to my notes. So, now it says dragged to Gamilon.
Yes.
Would that be drugged to Gamilon? Sorry.
So what, Deslok put a roofie in their drink?
Drugged to Gamilon. I have these cat tranquilizers.
I got them from Bill Cosby.
Now, come on.
Too soon?
Come on now. Star Wars in Character has like a moratorium now on Bill Cosby jokes.
Well, they do. We don't.
Are we going to pick up that flag and run with it now? Well, you guys aren't doing Cosby jokes anymore.
Hey, Deslok, put this in their pudding pop.
I got a blue pudding pop for you, Deslok. You see, you're.
It's not that late. Why are we so
loopy? The Queen Starsha. Starting to sound like my Harry Carey from before the show. Hey.
Deslok, played by Carrie Carey.
Hey, everybody. Is that the Star Force? I can't kill them. No matter what I do. Hey, if Gamilon was made out of green cheese, would you eat it? It sure looks like it's made out of cheese to me. It's got all them holes and stuff in it. It's got a hot center crunch of filling. Anyway, episode 23, Dragged to Gamilon. And what was the foreign name? A foreign name. It is a foreign. What was
the original name?
The original long drawn out name that you go, really?
Finally arrived. Crest of the Magellanic Clouds wave. I have no idea what that means.
They were on the crest of the wave, and they're sitting on top of the world. Do 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 do. Oh, Dragged to Gamilon. As the Star Force enters the Great Magellanic Cloud, because they bypass the not-so-great Magellanic Cloud, the galaxy in which Iscandar resides, they receive a strong radio signal which affects all of the navigation instruments. It turns out to be a transmission from Queen Starsha herself. She congratulates the Star Force on its brave journey and instructs them to follow her guide signal to Iscandar. But once they enter visual range of Iscandar, the signal is cut off, and navigator Mark Vengergump makes an even more startling discovery. The video data indicates that there are 2 planets at Iskandar's location.
Dun, dun, dun.
Radar detects a group of missiles coming from Iscandar. The missiles detonate around the Argo, releasing a magnetic ferrite cloud, which looks pretty nasty, which hovers around the ship. Analysis reveals that the missile fragments are of Gamilon origin. Wildstar then realizes that one of the 2 planets must be Iscandar, but the other is Gamilon. On Gamilon, Leader Deathlock's treasure pool massage is interrupted by a call from Queen Starsha. She chides the Gamilon leader for his unprovoked attack on Earth, but she doesn't do anything about it. But he explains that the Gamilons need to find a new home. Liebenstrop. Oh, wait, sorry. Jawohl, my Pierre. And that Earthlings are not a sufficiently civilized race to worry about preserving. A short time later, Deathlock addresses the Gamilon Senate, which I really think there was a blue meanie in that crowd, because I saw one guy for a second and went, wow, what the heck? That guy was a blue meanie from the Yellow Submarine. So he explains the plight of Gamilon, a semi-hollow planet which is volcanically unstable, with seas poisoned with sulfuric acid. Then move!
That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but, whatever. So you're going to, all the other planets you found? Anyway. Poisoned with sulfuric acid from the lava. Gamilon can no longer support humanoid life, so a new home is needed. Earth. Deathlock's plan is to use a magnetic ray to drag the ferrite fart cloud and the Star Force to Gamilon and into the sulfuric acid sea. On the Argo, shockwaves are felt as Gamilon's magnetic ray is put to use. As planned, the ship is dragged helplessly into the seas on Gamilon. When the Star Force realizes the danger of the sea, they take off, but not before the acid manages to melt the third bridge strut. All the bastards in the third bridge die. The entire third bridge falls off and into the sea. The Gamilons then begin dropping depth charges on the Star Force, trapping them above the deadly seas below. Earth has 164 days left. So, if any of you are wondering, why didn't they just fly out the big giant holes in the planet? I actually read some information, and it was on the commentary sites. That was explained in a PlayStation 1 game for Star Blazers, that those holes were plugged up with a laser grid so they couldn't fly back through it. Mm. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, that's actually on the ourStarblazers.com.
Right, that's where I looked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's because that's one of the things that you look at it when they're being pulled in by the magnetic waves or whatever. Mm-hmm. The beams suddenly cut off, and then they just keep going.
Yeah.
Well, if the beams have cut off, turn your damn engines on.
Oh, well, see, my note was, I say reverse the polarity of the hole and shake off that cloud. Wait a minute. If it's a cloud, what the hell? What? How is a cloud holding you?
That's one of my notes is, how is the cloud holding the ship? That's my exact note. I could see if they did it, if it ended up being like the asteroids that the Argo attracted to itself.
Right, and it was right.
If the cloud
something
actually
was
adhered to the hull.
It's just a cloud.
But even so, Even so, what's the Argo's hull made out of? Steel! You don't need the cloud. If it's magnetic, you're going to pull it in anyway.
Science.
Well, you want to go that far? The Argo stops off towards the edge of the galaxy, the Greater Magellanic Cloud. Then they get pulled all the way to Gamilon from there. That's one hell of a strong magnet.
Well, weren't they already in sight of the planets when those? They were already in sight of the planets when those missiles were launched. Because she sent the signal, they went there, then they launched them, and then they pulled it. They were in sight of the planet when they hit them with the stink cloud and pulled them in. Pretty sure. I'm gonna give them that one.
Okay.
But yeah, it would be crazy if they're all the way out at the edge of the galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell, if you got that powerful ray, just pull yourself a new planet in there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and of course we have the comic book. The villain must explain the entire situation to all these people who already know the situation just because the viewer happens to be looking at him at the time.
Oh, but we had the return of the chant. Deathlock, 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 Deathlock. I still want people to do that when I walk in a room.
I tell you, you got to put it on your phone.
See, it would work with you, with your name, Hendrix. Robinson, it does. Robinson. See, it doesn't have the same ring. It's like Hendrix.
I'll have to work on that.
See?
Speaking of your name, and this is a complete
My
non
name.
sequitur, your name.
Wait, non sequitur here? What do you mean? I don't understand the meaning of that word. Although I have a definition of it.
Don't ask me how it came up, but in our department meeting on Monday, the Lost in Space came up.
Sorry.
And the woman that works with me, a little bit older than me, not too much, had never heard of it.
Well, it is possible, you know.
It is possible, but then she looked at me because I started laughing. I actually quoted it, danger, danger. And she looked at me like, you've heard of us? Yeah, of course I've heard of it. I used to stay home from school every now and again.
What is this Star Trek thing you speak of?
Well, it's not as bad as the other guy I work with who'd never heard of Happy Days.
Wow.
Yeah. And he looks like Richie Cunningham.
Hey, Richie Cunningham. What's up, man? What? I don't understand. Why are you calling me Richie Cunningham?
Yeah, that's exactly the reaction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, you know, there's some people that have not devoted their entire early life to TV like I have, and maybe you have.
Oh, it's not that I devoted my life to it. It's just I saw a lot of old stuff.
Yeah. Well, I did too because I lived with my grandmother for a long time in my informative TV years. That's why I know My Three Sons and Perry Mason and stuff like that.
Anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So answer me this.
Riddle me this, Batman.
Deathlock, we have seen on previous episodes, we have seen him with concubines.
Previously on Star Blazers.
Why now does he only have male
concubines?
Yeah, I mean, did Deathlock come out of the closet in between episodes here?
Okay, what is it? Why? Okay, he's in a blue bath. Why is it all green around him? Did you notice that? Right where he's at in the water,
yep.
Everything green. Do we have a little accident in there?
Well, they put the chemical in there.
A little too relaxed, perhaps. Oops, sorry. My bath is so relaxing. I lost bowel control. Sorry. I was like, ooh.
Well, that's his blue makeup washing off. He's actually the regular skin tone underneath.
Yellow and blue make green. Oh, what is he doing? Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's gross. So, are we going to ship the planet names? Are we going to have Iscandar and Gamilon?
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, you know how like you take two things and you combine them, like shipping like characters on shows. So I was I was combining the names of the planet instead of.
Okay, let me put it this way: when you say shipping, I think FedEx.
No, not that shipping. I'm talking about the recent, like in the past 10 years, a thing to where you would take two characters and combine their names. Like, I think it really came around when Lost was on.
Okay.
Anyway, you combine like the beginning of somebody's name with the end of another person's name and create, like, we would be, if you shipped us together, we'd be.
It would cost a hell of a lot.
We just for the weight alone. If you shipped Bill and Gene, we'd be Bean. Or Gil. Or
So we'd be Rowan Atkinson.
Mr. Bean, yes. I had to think for a second. I'm like, what? Blackadder? What does that have anything to do with it? So you have Iskandar and Gamilon, so I came up with Iskalon or Gamadar. See? Huh? All right.
I understand what you're doing. I still don't get it.
I think it's a chick thing, and I've probably said too much, and we're just going to move along from this line of discussion. Speaking of shipping things together, what is up with Venture and Wildstar? I love you, I hate you. I love you, I hate you. What is with you clowns?
I don't know. Wildstar just need to smack at certain points in this episode. Like, Nova, we're under attack, and you're our radar operator. Go up and stay with the captain. What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My other note was, for God's sakes, Venture and Wildstar, just kiss each other, and while you're at it, smother Captain Avatar with a pillow.
No, not with a pillow, with his coat.
With his coat, which is pulled over him. You know.
They can't afford blankets, so he has to use his coat.
Well, that's a note for the next episode about his coat, but we'll save that for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I think here it is. I knew I had a name for this episode. Because it came to me in a song, which is usually how I get the titles for the episodes. The song "We Were Sailing Along on Moonlight Bay." Well, there's "We Were Sailing Along on Sulfur Bay," or maybe Sulfuric Bay. So there's our episode title: "Sailing Along on Sulfuric Bay." Sulfuric acid. Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, and we do have a reason for why. Did you read the reason in the commentary for why they think they lost the third bridge?
No, I didn't get.
Well, because remember the original storyline was going to be like 33 to 36 episodes, and
this was compressed down.
Right,
from
so
like 2 episodes.
They basically jumped ahead weeks in time and had rebuilt and fixed all the ship because when we last left it was trashed.
Right. I mean, the previous episode, it was 214 days left. Now it's 164. So 50 days have gone by.
Well, in that time frame, they rebuilt the third bridge, and one of the reasons given in that commentary that I was reading why they lose the third bridge so quickly and not other parts of the ship is because they were saying that like they picked up some metals on the way that were inferior to the original metals of the Argo, of the Yamato. So that's why the third bridge fell off so quick.
Okay, that makes sense.
Of course, it also could be because they have this massive structure supported by one little tiny piece of metal.
Are you saying that's not structurally sound?
I'm saying it's not. If I was an engineer, I don't think that would be a good design.
No.
Why don't you just make it flat right on the bottom of the hull? A part of the hull. Why are you going to just dangle it out there waiting to be blown off? Didn't they blow that off in the live movie too, if I remember correctly? Yeah.
Yeah. It's because it's a
expendable.
It's sacrificial. It's like when you put the anode rod in your hot water heater. It's so that the stuff will eat the rod rather than the hot water heater. So it's so that they blow off the third bridge rather than the rest of the ship.
Yeah, and that never seems to work because it always. I changed that. We're going to segue again. You ever changed the hot water heater?
The physical thing?
The whole thing.
Yeah, we actually 2 years ago we replaced the one that we had.
How long had it been there?
Like 20 years.
I don't know about where you live, but where I live, there's some pretty hard water. Not like radioactive.
You're not going to be Jay Garrick and get super speed.
No. But where the heating element went in, well, one, it's like a 30-gallon water heater, and we always seem to run out of hot water. And we'd been in the house for the water heater was probably the original from the 70s.
Okay.
So it started to leak real bad, so we took it down. And with the heating element, there was sediment and calcium stuff built up. Basically, a third of my water tank was full of calcium and the rock and deposits that had built up and grown. So I only was getting 20 gallons out of my 30-gallon water heater.
Holy crap.
Oh, yeah, because that's how hard our water is down here.
Oh.
So that's why a lot of people have water softeners.
Well, you see, the town I live in, we have our own water treatment facility. which happens to be across the street from my house.
Oh.
But the town's water, it comes from the aquifer under New Jersey. So the town has 3 pumps it up, treats it at the water station, and then sends it out. So our water, it's not super soft, but it's not, you don't get a lot of deposits with it either.
Well, it's filtered through Jimmy Hoffa too.
Oh yeah. Well, no, he's out west somewhere. They didn't keep him here. Too easy.
Yeah. So yeah, how do we get on the topic of water? Oh, because of this
the sacrificial third bridge.
Yeah. So, okay. Did you? So we got some more of the romance and Nova kind of hinting.
Oh, I love the Japanese version of this.
I didn't watch it. I read it to where she says what she said to him.
Yeah.
In that version, because they're going to take a picture, and basically she says something in the American version that, oh, well, now you have a picture of our first date, but he had tried to put his arm around her, almost like he went for a boob grab.
Yeah, I think he tried to grope her, and
she swats him away, and the camera takes a shot of her swatting him away, which, again, we have another little nice, useless, well, I guess that retractable camera stand was pretty neat, pretty helpful, but it didn't walk across. It's no 3-legged table that walks across the floor, though, let me tell you. Like last time. Gonna get me one of them tables, man. But yeah, in the Japanese, she was her comment was, well, you can tell our kids that this was the picture of our first date or something, right? Wasn't it along those lines?
Something about, this is when mom and dad were young.
Oh yeah, that was it. And he's like, what?
Yeah, and he doesn't get it until she leaves the room.
And then there's a whole scene that was not in the American, but in the original, where Dr. Sane the Lush comes out, all liquored up as usual. So, do Deathlock and Starsha have a party line? And how many listeners even get that reference? Do you even remember what a party line is?
I've never had a party line, but I know what it is.
Yeah, it was like a line where you could call and...
Well, it was... Everyone basically shared the same line.
Yeah.
So you could pick it up, and there could be people talking on it already.
Yeah, and you could listen in. Creepy.
Or hey, I need to make a phone call. Can you please shut up?
Yeah. So is that call local or long distance from planet to planet?
I don't know. I mean, do they have the all-inclusive package on their phone?
Are they in a family plan?
I don't know. The way they talk to each other, it sounds like they're brother and sister.
Starsha. Oh wait. I'm sorry. I was doing Deathlock as Starsha. What happened there? Well, God, you know what? They could be brother and sister with the. Starsha, you have used too much of our minutes on our family plan. You silly wench. We went over again. How am I going to support all these little mushroom people?
Well, that's all she can do is because she apparently can't get out of bed.
Yeah, she is pretty relaxed.
She's just sitting there in bed, just kind of looking at Gamilon.
I think she's the one that's had the cat tranquilizers or something. Because she's just, I'm just relaxed. Really relaxed. Oh, well, that's why they had to come to her. I can't get out of bed. You guys just have to come and get this Cosmo DNA thing. I can't be bothered.
Yeah, the only one that could walk on the planet was her sister. That's why she was shit.
Get out of bed. It's like a teenager. I have Queen Starsha in the other room. My middle daughter. You gonna get up today?
Well, she's a teenager, right?
Yeah, but I mean, she gets good grades, but she's, she comes home, she sleeps, and she gets up in the middle of the night and does her homework, weird, she'll get up and cook dinner and then go back to bed and then get up later and do her projects and stuff. But hey, she's getting...
It gets it done, right?
She's getting A's. I mean, I can't... It's like, what do you do? It's like, you're gonna stay up and change your whole thing of what you're doing because you're getting A's, and I'll just shut up now. I mean, it'd be different. It's like, you're failing, and this, and you got, but it's like I got nothing to bitch about. I should just shut up.
Really, you just never see her. That's all.
Yeah. Oh well.
Now let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
When the Argo is being pulled towards Gamilon,
Mm-hmm.
it gets shook so hard that everyone falls out of their seats. And
Don't they have
IQ
seatbelts
9,
on this thing? Shouldn't they have general quarters and strap themselves in? What the hell are they doing?
but you have IQ 9
Goes to pieces,
dashed
literally.
to pieces. But the humans don't even have a bruise.
Yeah.
What did he hit?
Well, maybe he's like Mr. Data, in Star Trek, where he had that one button that would shut him off. Maybe he's like those toys. Like, I could have swore I had a toy where you could hit a button and it would like fly apart.
Well, I know the speeder bikes from Return of the Jedi did that.
There you go. That's what he is. There's like a button on there. Poof! It just. Well, there was a diagram on the inside of him of his head or something that showed how to put him back together, and they had to hurry up and try to put him back together.
Because apparently IQ9 is the only one on the ship that can do an analysis of water.
Yeah,
Sandor, the chief scientist. Well, he can't just take his tricorder and say, "Holy crap, that's acid. We have to put IQ9 back together." Then he has to sit at a station.
Oh yeah, but next episode, oh yeah, Mr. Sandor's the man. He can't shut his mouth up. Oh my God. We'll get to that.
And when did they move the space compass? Didn't the compass used to be the big circular thing in the middle of the room?
I don't remember if that was. I guess that was the compass.
Yeah, but now it's a panel on Venture's station.
Well, to be honest, they could have. He is the navigator. They could have a little mini one right there so that he could read. I mean,
so he doesn't have to turn and look over his shoulder every time.
Wait, I got to turn and look at the compass. Venture, you're turning the ship. I really need a compass right here. I got to keep looking over my shoulder. That's why we keep turning to port.
Oh, man. Well, but more or less, this episode was all set up for the next episode.
Oh, yeah.
On to episode 24, The Battle of Gamilon, or Death Struggle, God Weep for the Gamilons. Boy, is that dramatic. Trapped between depth-charged bombardment and the sulfuric acid seas of Gamilon, the Star Force desperately tries to find a way out. At his command center, a building suspended from the ceiling of Gamilon's upper shelf, Leader Deathlock...
Good design, dummy. Oh, sorry.
Well, actually, according to the commentary, it's his battleship.
Yeah.
That's docked there.
Yeah.
Also, why? Put it on the floor. Anyway, Leader Deathlock monitors the battle's progress. He lashes out at General Cripp's offer to relax and have a drink. Sounds like he's trying to get in close to the leader. On the Argo, out of ideas, Wildstar seeks advice from Captain Avatar, who suggests that they actually submerge the ship for 10 minutes in the acid sea and seek out a volcano to disrupt using the wave motion gun.
Where did Captain Avatar, in his little drugged out state up there, come up with the 10 minutes? 10 minutes ought to do it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I'm more concerned with how Captain Avatar knows so much about Gamilon's volcanic systems.
Well, maybe
he didn't even know the planet was here.
Well, maybe he's up there doing a lot of reading. He's got a little camera feed down there to everything that's going on. I think he's like watching everybody.
Oh, so he was in on Deathlock's briefing before, where he described everything and how the planet was actually destroying itself.
Oh, well, I don't know if... Well, oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know.
Whatever. After a few minor pieces of the ship have fallen off, IQ-9 spots the desired volcano. One hit from the wave motion gun sends Gamilon into a seismic upheaval. Deathlock momentarily loses his sanity, exploding into a fit of uncontrollable hysteria at the irony of having drawn the Star Force to Gamilon to destroy them, only to have them turn the tables and destroy Gamilon instead.
Big dummy.
The Star Force ascends from the Gamilon Sea. Leader Deathlock orders the sealing missiles above the central Gamilon city. Wait, they keep missiles above the city.
I got a note about that.
Okay. You want to get to it later or not?
Yeah. We can wait.
To be dropped on the Argo. His aide, General Crypt. I don't believe this. They actually have in the description wigs out at this suggestion, knowing that it will destroy the city as well, and begs Deathlock to end the battle and seek a truce. This earns Crypt a snide comment from the leader, though in the Japanese version, he's shot in the chest. Missile fire rains down on the Star Force, and so Wildstar orders the Argo to fly directly above the central city in hopes of discouraging further attacks. But this does not dissuade the Gamilons, and sailing missiles drop like stones, wrecking the city and causing further volcanic eruptions. Gamilon's tectonic structure becomes unstable, and huge sections of the upper shelf collapse and fall upon the cities below. A shot from the Argo's main guns strikes Desloc's command center, which plummets to the ground below. Desloc himself is covered in rubble, but falls through a trapdoor, his fate uncertain. Gamilon falls still and silent. Wildstar finds Nova weeping on the main gun deck, and declares they believes that this was their last battle. The Argo, badly damaged, lifts off, as Captain Avatar delivers a message of congratulations to the crew over the public address. Planet Iscandar comes into view. Earth only has 161 days left. In other words, they spent 3 days there getting the ship to fly again before they went to Iscandar.
Well, they probably had to. There was a lot of holes they had to patch up to go back into space and everything. And
oh, yeah.
Guns melted off.
There's so much damage to the superstructure that when Wildstar and Nova go back to the bridge, they walk up a gangway and it's open to space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they don't really explain, because when I watched it, suddenly at the end of the episode or towards the end, Wildstar is in a space helmet. And I'm like, where is he? What happened? It's kind of explained a little bit in the Japanese version, in that he actually went down to one of the gun turrets and they were manually firing the gun turrets because they wouldn't fire from the bridge.
Right.
So that's why he was in the spacesuit, because it was in his helmet, because it was open space and everything. Or, well, maybe not space, but they were probably breathing sulfuric fumes.
Yeah.
So, that's why, because I was like, how did he get outside? There was no switching. He was just there. It's like,
yeah, it's just
what?
all of a sudden, bang.
Yeah, what? Why is he in a... Did I miss something? I mean, I looked away for a second. I'm a little flighty, but why does he have a space helmet on? He's not even on the bridge. He's outside. What's going on?
I don't know. Maybe he went as insane as Desloc did.
Oh, yeah.
Because he went completely around the bend in this one.
Desloc went, snip! We brought them here! Oh, yeah, you're kind of scary when you go crazy.
Yeah, and then Crypt finally grows a backbone and gets him shot.
Yeah, but in...
Yeah, not in Starblaze.
The English one, you just get the extreme close-up, right between his eyes. I mean, it was literally, the screen was his eye, like an eye on each edge of the screen and in between his nose, and he's like, and then you never see him again. That was it.
Yeah.
But he gets blasted.
And apparently in the Japanese version, you just see Desloc get covered by rubble, and then the trapdoor sequences in episode 26. Which makes more sense, because as soon as I saw it here, I'm like, wait a second. Did they add that? Because the animation style looks different,
Yeah. So, let's see. I got some other lighthearted notes. The one that I'd mentioned before we got started tonight, I and my coat greet you, Wildstar. As Wildstar goes up to see Captain Avatar, he's laying in bed with his hat on.
Of course.
He's not wearing his coat this time, but his coat is neatly laid out over him like an extra blanket. And I'm thinking, is he not hot underneath that thing?
He's wearing that stupid turtleneck sweater he's always got on. And he's under the covers and has a pea coat on top of that.
Man, that's got to be uncomfortable. No wonder the guy's so out of it. What's doing to him? And there was what is it? When Venture was piloting, there's a point to where he says, and we're going to turn to starboard, and then he pauses and turns in that starboard. Like, where does that come from? What? Starboard is, starboard does. Like, who are you talking to? Like, is there some other guy turning the ship?
Yeah, is he arguing with Eager? I mean, what's going on here?
Who are you talking to? Oh, Eager. I got a note about him. Somebody put Eager on a diet. He looks like me. Because I was like, hey, that's not that. That could be me minus the the Gomer Pyle sound.
So you're gonna cosplay as Eager next convention you go to?
Keep putting on weight, yeah. Could always go. I could grow my beard out and go as Captain Avatar and pass out from wearing a pea coat.
In Florida.
Look, he really is Captain Avatar. He's down on the ground. Quick, give me some spring water.
Well, then you get your wife to dress up as Nova in the nurse outfit.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you don't think she'll go for that?
No.
That derailed us, didn't it?
And Mr. Complainer, Sandor, hurry up!
IQ9's like, nah, go this way.
Let's
go over that way.
Turn here, beep 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 beep. Turn here. Nope. Ah, there is one. Hurry up, IQ9.
Well, because Sandor's the one that has to put everything back together after it melts off.
Shut up, Sandor. You can't even analyze water. You could have stuck your finger out there and put it. Oh, that's sulfuric acid. Oh shit, we're in trouble. You could have just thrown something off the ship and went, wow, that thing's gone. Ooh, I think we've got some issues. Ooh, Alvin's here.
Uh-oh.
Somebody let Alvin in here and didn't give him food.
The boss.
Uh-oh. It's going to be trouble. He's already circling me like a shark. Cat shark. Where'd he go? I can't see him. Ah! Oh. All right, so this is where we get into I'd say the dark portion of this episode, and that's so were the Gamilons, like the civilians, really a subjugated people because they have all these missiles pointed down at them? Did they not have any real choice to go along with what Leader Deathlock wanted?
That's the only reason I could think of having all that armament right above a city.
Is to keep your populace in line.
Yeah.
With what you want to do.
Well, I mean, he is a totalitarian dictator.
Yeah.
Yes, there's technically
and I had never really thought of that until I watched this time. That thought never occurred to me as a younger man.
You just figure, of course they're gonna have defenses, but the defenses are pointed in.
Yeah, and it's like, out. well, they're the bad guys, so who cares if they all die? And all the little penis mushroom homes on Gamilon were gone. I'll take the double length penis mushroom, thank you. Oh, that's a lovely home. Split design. Yes, it's very beautiful inside. There's these two round things at the end, at the bottom for your car park. Oh, sorry, have I said too much? No.
Oh,
it's rather bulbous design, don't you think? No. We're stretching this out for later models. Can I get any more jokes out of this?
Well, only if you switch to the Smurf ones. They're blue, they live in mushrooms. Of course they're Smurfs.
They're giant Smurfs. They're giant evil Smurfs. They're what would happen if Gargamel had his way with the Smurfs. You just make them all evil. They would all talk in a high voice. I'm not a Smurf, damn it. I'm a Gamilon!
What would he be? Bossy Smurf?
Prissy Smurf? I don't find that funny.
Oh, boy.
So, so the Star Force goes and basically pretty much kills the entire civilian population of the planet.
Yeah, I mean, if
or at least in that general vicinity. If not,
well, see, here's the thing. Yeah, that city is gone. That one volcano erupted, but everything has been chain reacting.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that in a very short amount of time, we are going to have no Gamilons left on Gamilon.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's going to... All of the volcanoes are going to erupt. I don't even know Gamilon, I assume, would be able to survive. It'll kill all the populace, but I think the planet would still be there. If not, Iscandar is screwed.
Yeah, because they're I don't think we really talked about that. That they're a binary planetary system locked together.
Right.
I guess they spin around each other. I don't know. In addition to spinning themselves, not really sure how that works.
Yeah, they would have to.
There would have to be some. Well, way off. One blew up. Even if it didn't destroy the other one, there's going to be severe gravitational issues.
Yeah, they probably most likely wouldn't be able to stay in orbit. because
True. Yeah.
they're out so far already. They're the 8th planet, the 8th orbit in the system. Well, they're there because they're combined mass. If suddenly half the mass is gone, the gravitational pull isn't going to be strong enough. Iskandar is going to go shooting off like the moon in Space 1999.
Moon-based starship.
But as we will see next episode, there are already issues on Iskandar.
Issues on Iskandar. Could you be more Stanley? Like,
hey, true believer,
we've got issues on Iskandar, and we're gonna see Slinky, sexy Starsha. What, Stan? Hey, I'm 94. Leave me alone. Let me do what I want. I don't have much time left. Who knows if I'll even make it to 94? Who knows if I'll make it to 64? But
boy, we're on an upbeat show today, aren't we?
Well, I mean, this didn't really end on a very high note.
No, I mean, it ended with Nova on the deck of the
crying her eyes
ship.
out.
Yeah, crying.
Because yeah. Well, there's a lot of about, it was. I want to say World War II was like the turn point in warfare to where civilian casualties became a larger thing. And it was almost somewhat of a strategy to turn the populace against the home country by decimating the population, like the bombing of Britain, the bombing of Dresden, tit for tat in that aspect. So, and then of course Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So this is you figure this series would only be 30 years removed from that, because it came out originally in Japan much closer to the mid 70s, so it would only be 30 years.
Yeah.
So a lot of these things would be fresh to people.
Well, yeah, because the way it's set
even
up,
though it's veiled in something else, I would have to think people of that time would catch on to it more than you or I would at that time because of our age.
Right.
But older people, if they're watching, would see the parallels in this.
Yeah, it's especially when you have something like the wave motion gun. You have a nuke on this battleship that it comes in. It's like, okay, well, yeah, we'll just shoot this one thing and destroy half your planet.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's not a feel-good kind of episode, no.
No. I'm fending the cat off from the microphone. He's just jumped up in a chair and he's like getting closer. Go away. He's like, feed me before I eat your arm. That's what happens when they let the cat out here. Stop looking at me. He's rubbing against me. Meow, come on, feed me. What's wrong with you? Come on, right here.
Oh, man.
Go. I had to pull the nose up somehow. I had to get us out of that depressing talk. Alvin was good.
Here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what the projection on the bottom of the Argo is called. The third bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Why, in the beginning of this episode, do they refer to it as the third gun deck?
That was a mistake. I saw that was, that was just an oops. Yeah, because I caught that too. I was like, third gun deck.
Yeah.
Well, where's the second bridge? Is it like, I would assume it's somewhere in the center of the ship.
I would think it would be closer to the guns. It's I probably on one of my DVDs have a floor plan or deck plan of the Argo, but I typically, like, if you think of Star Trek, the main bridge is at the top of the saucer in the most vulnerable place you could put it.
Mm-hmm.
The auxiliary bridge, this is original series. The auxiliary bridge is in the center of the saucer.
Yeah.
So most likely the secondary bridge on the Argo is going to be in the center of mass. So like where a battle bridge would be on a modern Navy ship, in the most protected area of the ship, as opposed to the flying bridge.
Well, when I went on the Wisconsin, which is a Missouri class battleship. That was built by the United States towards the end of World War II, and then saw service in Korea, Vietnam, and was trotted out again for the Gulf War, and then was retired sometime in the 90s. There was only 4 made. There was the Iowa, the Missouri, the New Jersey,
Yep.
Iowa, and the Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Duh.
The one you were on.
Well, I wasn't stationed on it. I had friends
Right.
who went to fire controlman school and found out they were there in Norfolk where I was stationed, and went on and checked out the ship and everything. And there is a battle, kind of like a battle bridge. You have the main bridge, which is nice with all the windows and everything. Then you go down a couple decks. And one of the things about the battleships is they have an 18 inches of steel on the water, like for the hull. Maybe not, I don't think it's the entire hull, but like in a belt for torpedo protection.
Uh-huh.
Then up on the battle bridge, so to speak, there's basically a bunker on the superstructure, and its walls are 18 inches thick steel. There's a door you have to open to get in. I walked in there, and there's like this little tiny slits cut in so that are angled up and down. So you just have this maybe a few inch opening that you can look through, and that would be like the protected bridge on that.
Right.
Just a neat little thing, I got to see one time.
That sounds cool. I like going on old Navy ships.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's always interesting to see the technology and how things were laid out. And I mean, one of the places I went to as a kid that I really want to get back to at some point is Battleship Cove up in Connecticut. Because they have a submarine. I think they have a submarine, a destroyer, and a battleship. They may have added another one since I've been there, but then you go a walking tour of each one. It's really interesting.
Well, how close are you to Philadelphia?
Less than an hour.
Because I think the mothball fleet is there.
Yeah, well, the New Jersey is in Camden.
Oh, okay.
It was closed this weekend for the snow.
But it's like a museum piece now.
Yeah, you can go on tours and everything.
Yeah, that's I've built models of that ship and blown them up, and then other stuff. So did reports on it when I was in. And Alvin tried to jump on the window. Did reports on it when I was in like high school, junior high and stuff. So yeah, it's they always I was always loved them, and I'm glad I got to actually go on one when it was actually in active service.
Yeah, because
pretty cool.
There's nothing like seeing it when it's actually on duty rather than after they've had to decommission it and take everything out.
Yeah, it's not the same. It has no soul. It's just an empty husk.
It's a museum piece.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they keep some things on it, but it's not the same as when it's lived in. Another a little probably not known fact is that when the battleships were brought back in, the power generators they had for them, to generate power on the ship, were rented from General Electric.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Wow.
They rented the generators. That was what I was told. This is all hearsay from one of the guys that was on the ship. It was one of the facts. He's like, yeah, our power generators, we rent them from GE. Like, really?
Interesting.
Like, yeah. So, yep. Well, as Alvin leaps again. See, he jumps up and he puts his claws into the screen in the garage door. Right. And he just hangs there and looks out the window. Like, hello? Anybody? Anybody out there? Somebody let me in?
Please let me out. I can't stand it in here.
Feed me. I'll feed you in a minute. He's pawing at the door. He's so pitiful. My God. My God, man. Grow a spine.
But then he'll get shot in the chest.
What?
Crypt grew a spine, then get shot.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was like, I'm not going to shoot.
I'm actually trying to bring it back to the show.
I'm not going to shoot Alvin.
Although you want to sometimes.
Oh, he just get out of here. He's right by the mic. Get your ass off my mic.
Does that mean Alvin is talking at his ass?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he jumped back down. So we only have one more episode of Star Blazers left, and we'll be heading off to somewhere else. We'll be heading back to Earth. So we've got episode 25 and 26. I don't remember the exact names of those, but it's going to be a quick return trip, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, the next it's episode 25 is Iscandar, and 26 is The Journey Home. So it took 25 episodes to get there, one to get home.
Whoosh! One big long space jump.
Well, it's basically there's no conflict, so there's no reason for us to look at it.
That's true. That's true. Oh, there was one other note I read in the our Star Blazers site
Yeah.
that was saying something about they had some of the crew members were in. It was talking about another female crew member, and they said that they had a lot of crew members in like a cryo sleep. Did you catch that note?
I saw something that they were going that in the Japanese they put Avatar into a cryo tube. Here it is. He was put into a hibernation tube to stave off his impending death.
Oh.
They also apparently had a powered up wave motion gun perfected just before the final battle. I'm sorry, this is from the original episodes 34 and 35.
Oh, okay. So wait a minute. They're going to put Avatar in cryo sleep in a big pea coat. Isn't that kind of
defeating the purpose?
Defeating the purpose. Oh, God, the power drain on this cryo chamber. Get that coat off of him. Who put that stupid coat in there? You idiot.
Here's something else. Apparently, the Japanese, Desloc's name is Dessler, but he has the...
Oh, the whole connotation to Hitler?
Yeah, his title is Soto. Well, Soto is the Japanese translation of Führer.
Yeah.
And Dessler, Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of makes an interesting comparison, especially when he's going to destroy his own people.
Ah, that explains everything. Desloc only has one testicle. All so clear now. Why his voice is so high. It was a terrible rice picking machine accident when he was a child. See, I knew you'd get that one.
Yeah. Got his head caught in a mechanical rice picker.
So Desloc got his junk caught in a mechanical rice picker.
Maybe that's why he's blue.
A lot of pent up frustration. I get no release.
Oh wow.
I think we'll say goodbye to everybody and
before it gets even worse.
Yeah. So we will see you next time, and until then, I can't think of a Star Blazer. Keep them flying. No, that's
remember to power up wave motion gun.
If you're going to be operating a wave motion gun, please do not take Ambien. Users of Ambien have been known to get up in the middle of the night and fire wave motion guns without knowing. Please take Ambien under direction of Dr. Sane when he's not drinking.
In other words, never.
Never. All right, I got nothing else. Good night, everybody.
See you next time.
Visit our website at twotruefreaks.com. Two True Freaks is always spelled TWOTRUEFREAKS.
You can email Two True Freaks directly at twotruefreaks@gmail.com.
Two True Freaks and all of its excellent affiliates are available on iTunes, and you can choose to subscribe to either the entire network if you wish, or pick whichever individual shows you want to follow. We have so many shows to choose from, there's just bound to be one that appeals to your particular fandom. Just search Two True Freaks with an exclamation mark at the end, space, and the number 2.
You can find Two True Freaks on Facebook. Just search for Two True Freaks. If you ever leave your house and you actually have friends, why don't you tell them about Two True Freaks?
If you've enjoyed our show, please, won't you take a moment to rate us on iTunes? That helps others find the show, too.
Thanks for listening,
and join us every Monday for new episodes of
Two True Freaks.